Hello everyone, welcome in the class of physiology. In previous class, we have learned about the digestive tract wall, their structure and the regulation of digestive process. So in this class, we will discuss about the mouth, buccal cavity or oral cavity. It is the first part of the digestive tract and it is adapted to receive food by the ingestion, break it into the small particle by mastication and mix it with the saliva. The lips, cheeks and palate form the boundaries and the oral cavity contain the teeth and tongue and receive the secretion from the salivary glands. So we will learn about buccal cavity in this lecture. So let's start with the oral cavity. It is also called buccal cavity. A human oral cavity has upper lips, lower lips and superior labial frenulum, inferior labial frenulum and lingual frenulum. It also has hard palate as well as soft palate. The soft palate is associated with the uvula. The oral cavity or mouth is the entrance to the digestive tract. The opening is formed by the muscular lips which help procure, guide and contain the food in the mouth. Lips also serve the non-digestive functions like speech organization and it has the sensory receptor that help for the making interpersonal relationship like kissing. The palate which forms the arched roof of the oral cavity, it separates the mouth from the nasal cavity. So it presents allow breathing and chewing or sucking to take place simultaneously. The uvula is hanging down from the soft palate. It plays important role in closing of the nasal passage during swallowing process. The tongue, which forms the roofs of the oral cavity, is composed of voluntarily controlled skeletal muscles. The movement of the tongue are important in guiding food within the mouth during chewing and swallowing and also play an important role in the speech organization. So furthermore, the major taste buds are also located on the tongue. So the tongue is a muscular organ in the mouth and it is covered with the moist pink tissue called mucosa. The taste bud is located primarily along the edges of the papillae on the upper surface of the tongue and provide the tongue its rough texture. There are thousands of the taste buds cover the surface of the papillae. So the taste buds are collection of nerve-like cells that connect to the nerves running into the brain. In the back of the mouth, the tongue is anchored into the hyoid bone. The tongue is vital for the chewing and swallowing the food as well as for the speech. So we can discriminate among thousands of different tastes, sensations. So yet all the tastes are varying combination of 5 primarily tastes, that is salty, sour, sweet, bitter and umami. And umami is a meaty like taste and has recently been added to the list of primary tastes that result from the tasting glutamate. Actually, this is present in flavor additive monosodium glutamate, that is also called MSG. It is primarily used in Asian country food market. So the tongue has many nerves that help detect and transmit taste signal to the brain. Because of this, all part of the tongue can detect these common tests. So there are nothing is like test mapping. Now see this picture for the better understanding of the upper digestive tract. This one is nasal cavity, and below the nasal cavity hard palate is present. The end of the hard palate is a soft palate, and down to the soft palate is uvula. In the buccal cavity, the tongue is present, and this one is epiglottis. This one is a voice box or larynx, and this one is trachea, and this one is esophagus. Now the pharynx is the cavity at the rear of the throat, and it acts as a common passageway for the digestive system by serving as a link between the mouth and esophagus for the food, as well as the respiratory system by providing access between the nasal passage and the trachea for the air. So the nasopharynx is depicted in the green color, and it receives air from the nasal cavity. The oropharynx received food from the buccal cavity, and the hypopharynx is a common passageway for the air and the food. So from the hypopharynx there are two passageways, that is trachea and the esophagus. So now we will learn about the tonsils. So tonsil are lymphoid organ and a small organ in the back of the throat. So as a part of the lymphatic system, they play an important role in the health of the body. So technically there are three sets of the tonsil in the body, that is pharyngeal tonsil, which is known as adenoids, the palatine tonsil, and the lingual tonsil, which are lymphatic tissue on the surface tissue of the base of the tongue. So the tonsil prevent foreign object from the slipping into the lungs, and they also filter bacteria and viruses. On the top of all that, they produce white blood cells and the antibodies. So here we can see that this is the structure of the normal tonsil, and this is the structure of the inflamed tonsils. So this is the location of the pharyngeal tonsil. You can see here the palatine tonsil is located here, and the lingual tonsil is present here. So the first step in the digestive process is mastication or chewing, that is the motility of the mouth that involve the slicing, tearing, grinding and mixing of the ingested food by the teeth. So now we will learn about the teeth. So here we can see the structure of the teeth. A teeth has three parts. The upper part is called crown, the middle part is called neck, and the lower part is called root. A teeth has hardest part, upper surface enamel, and this enamel forms before the tooth's eruption by the special cells that are lost as a tooth erupts. Below the enamel, the dentine is present, and below the dentine there is pulp cavity. This pulp cavity has nerves and blood vessels, and the teeth are firmly embedded in and protrude from the jaw bones. So this one is the jaw bones that fix the tooth or teeth with the help of cement, and the upper portion of the jawbone is covered with the gum tissue. Each tooth is embedded in a socket of the jawbone, as we have seen in previous slide, and this type of attachment is called thecodont. So majority of the mammal including human being form two set of the teeth, during their life. So a set of temporary milk or deciduous teeth replaced by a set of permanent or adult teeth. So this type of dentition is called diffidont. In an adult human that has 32 permanent teeth which are of 4 different types, it is also called heterodont dentition system. And these 4 different type of the teeth is called incisor, canine, also called cuspid, premolar and molar. The arrangement of the teeth in each half of the upper and lower jaw in the order incisor, canine, premolar and molar is represented by a dental formula in the human is 2:1:2:3. Actually, the teeth can exert forces much greater than those necessary to eat ordinary food. For example, the molar in an adult man can exert crushing force of up to 200 pounds, which is sufficient to crack a hard nut. But ordinary these powerful processes are not used. So the function of chewing are first is to grind the food and break the food into smaller pieces to facilitate swallowing and to increase the food surface area on which salivary enzyme will act. Second is to mix the food with the saliva, and third to stimulate the taste bud. The stimulation of the taste bud is not only gives rise to the pleasurable subjective sensation of the taste, but also in feed-forward fashion reflexly increase salivary, gastric, pancreatic and bile secretion to prepare for the arrival of the food. So the acting of chewing can be voluntary, but most chewing process during a meal is rhythmic reflex brought about by the activation of the skeletal muscles of the jaw, lips, cheeks and tongue in response to the presence of food against the oral tissue. The upper and lower teeth normally fit together when the jaw are closed. So this occlusion allows food to ground and crust between the tooth surface. So when a teeth do not make proper contact with one another, a condition called malocclusion, and that result from abnormal positioning of the teeth and is often caused either by the overcrowding of the teeth too large for the available jaw space or by one jaw being displaced in relation to the other. So in addition to ineffective chewing, malocclusion can cause abnormal wearing of affected tooth surface and dysfunction and pain of the temporomandibular joint where the jaw bones articulate with each other. The malocclusion can often be corrected by the applying the braces which exert prolonged gentle pressure against the teeth to move them gradually to the desired position. So we have learned about the tooth or teeth. Now we will learn about the saliva. The saliva is the secretion associated with the mouth and is produced largely by three major pair of the salivary glands that lie outside of the oral cavity and discharge saliva through short duct into the mouth. So in this figure we can see that there are three pair of salivary gland, that is parotid gland, the submandibular gland and the sublingual gland. So the saliva is about 99.5% water and 0.5% electrolyte and proteins. So the salivary NaCl or salt concentration is only 1/7 of that in the plasma, which is important in perceiving salty tastes. Similarly, discrimination of sweet taste is enhanced by the absence of glucose in the saliva. The most important salivary protein are amylase, mucus, and lysozyme. Saliva begin carbohydrate digestion is important in oral hygiene and facilitate the speech process. So saliva begin digestion of the carbohydrate in the mouth through action of salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is an enzyme that breaks polysaccharide molecules into the maltose, a disaccharide consisting of two glucose molecules. So saliva facilitates swallowing by the moistening food particles, thereby holding them together, and by providing lubrications through the presence of mucus, which is a thick and slippery. The saliva exerts some antibacterial action by a fourfold effect. First, by the lysozyme, an enzyme that lyse or destroy the certain bacteria by breaking down the cell wall. Second, by the binding of the glycoprotein that bind IgA antibody. And third, by the lactoferrin, which tightly bind to the iron needed for the bacterial multiplication. And fourth fold, by the rising away material that may serve as a food source for the bacteria. So saliva aids speech by facilitating movement of the lips and tongue. It is difficult to talk when your mouth feels dry. Now we will look another function of the saliva. So actually saliva serve as a solvent for the molecule that stimulate the taste buds. Actually, only molecule in the solution can react with the taste bud receptor. So you can do an experiment by yourself. You have to dry your tongue with some cotton, and then you should drop some sugar on your tongue. So you will not taste the sugar until your tongue is moistened. So the flow of saliva also flushes away the food particle on taste bud so that you can taste the next bite of the food. So saliva play an important role in oral hygiene as well by helping keep the mouth and teeth clean. The constant flow of the saliva secretion helps flush away the food residue, foreign particles, and old epithelial cells that have shedded from the oral mucosa. The saliva contribution in this regard is apparent to anyone who has experienced a foul taste in the mouth when salivation is suppressed by a while, such as during a fever or state of the prolonged anxiety. During your presentation also. So saliva enrich in bicarbonate buffers which neutralize acid in the food as well as acid produced by the bacteria in the mouth. So thereby helping prevent dental caries. So now we will see the digestion in the mouth. So digestion in the mouth involve the hydrolysis of polysaccharide molecule into the disaccharide molecule by amylase, which is present in the salivary secretions. So however, most digestion by this enzyme is accomplished in the body of the stomach after the food mass and saliva have been swallowed. So acid inactivate this enzyme, but in the center of the food mass where stomach acid has not yet reached, this salivary amylase continue to function for the several more hours. So there are no absorption of the food stuff occur from the mouth, but some drug can be absorbed by the oral mucosa. For example, nitroglycerin. The nitroglycerin are a vasodilator drug which is prescribed by the doctor to the cardiac patient to relieve the anginal attack associated with the myocardial ischemia. So now this is the question session, and I am giving you some question for your homework. You have to discuss the different types of the tonsil. You should write the answer for this question, that is the explain the salivary reflex. You have to explain the salivary reflex, how salivary secretion is controlled by the nervous stimulation, and you have to describe the control of the salivary secretions. You should elaborate the structure of the teeth, how human teeth is differ with the other animal teeth. You should learn about this. So these are the reference book which is listed here. You can go with any of this book for the better understanding of the human physiology and medical physiology. So now I am closing this session, and I am requesting you all to join our next lecture that will be based on the pharynx, esophagus and stomach. So thank you all for listening me. Thank you.